Okay.
Right.
So
Okay.
first, an IEP, an individual education plan, is a state mandate, a federally funded mandate that ensures that students who have mental disabilities,
Emotional
learning disabilities, learning,
Emotionally
emotional,
disordered.
anything, any type of disability are going to get an equal opportunity to being successful in school.
Yes.
All right? 504s are
More
a
for
lot
health reasons.
are a lot of times used for students who may have severe asthma, who may have a vision issue. It's tied to a doctor also having to be a part of the process to make sure that you have a 504, which could give you extended time on an exam, a writer for an exam, breaks for an exam. These two things are well intentioned. So I want to make sure that is clear,
Yes.
right? However,
Like you said, they giving them out like water.
what we know now is that it is also a way to get students to well intentioned to get students out of school, out of high school, or to get students more time on exams, or to get students more assistance on exam. And I just want to say, and people could
And-
disagree with me or not,
and
this
you
is a
get-
tool.
And when you have students that have IEPs, you get more money.
Okay.
And that is not the reason that people get IEP. That's not the reason. The school, I want to say the school's default to give an IEP isn't because they want more money. Because you don't get the more money immediately. And just because you have the more money don't mean you can use it. So I just want to say that. The reality is that in more privileged communities, IEPs are used.
Okay.
Let's just say that. I just want to make sure that we understand that is not something that is just used in a black community because we're trying to get over. Parents who are informed, who know that their student may have a medical issue, that parent is going to be like, get my kid a 504, and it's not a problem with it. I'm just going to say that. There's nothing wrong with it because those parents understand how to work the system. The issue is that traditionally we've seen that African American boys
Yes.
have gotten IEPs in the past, 80s to now, or a little bit before now. They get IEPs because they're acting out. Oh, he has a issue, so we're going to give him an IEP and we're going to put him in special
It's the
education.
behavior.
And so special education, the idea is not, it shouldn't be stigmatized. Right? The problem is how it's used. So when you give a student an IEP, you have an option to say that the student cannot function in a class of 30, 25 students, and they need to be in a smaller setting, which would be 12 to 1 to 1, 15 to 1 to 1, which means 15 students to one adult, which is a smaller setting. You're not in the general population of the school. We all remember when we were in elementary school, and we'd be like, that small classroom, what's wrong with them, right? You know, you made fun of them because you didn't understand, because people stigmatize those students. And so the wave was, that is not fair. That doesn't work for students. It doesn't work. And those students can be mainstream and put into a ICT class or a CTT class, which just means that you have
Collaborative team teacher.
two teachers, right? You have a general education teacher, and you have a teacher who has a special education license, who's there to support those students with the IEP, but also the other students who are struggling. So this system that is in place is a good one,
Yes.
right? How it is being used and how the people who are using it are being looked at is a whole different situation, because the reality is that in affluent neighborhoods there is nothing wrong with having an IEP, because actually that was smart of you because you got your kids some more time, or a 504,
And
right?
other accommodations and extra
Right?
help with it.
In our community, it's used as a tool, well intentioned again, to get you out, because some kids really do need an IEP.
Yes.
And some kids, you're like, so when you signed up for that, when you said that this student needed an IEP in 11th grade in the last semester, did you just realize that they needed the
Nobody
IEP?
realized that beforehand. Now all of a sudden, to get you out of here and get you that diploma, all of a sudden now
need
such
to
and
be
such needed an
evaluated.
IEP, and I'm just like, I don't understand it.
And one of my issues with it is that when they want to give a student an IEP in kindergarten, I'm like, okay, what have you done to really see if a
Exactly.
child needs these accommodations? Because I think there are so many students that are just getting them because people don't want to deal with them. And when they're used properly, then they're a great tool. But sometimes teachers don't know how to write IEPs. There was something that said a student can write a scary story. Well, what are you measuring and what are you assessing when a child is writing a scary story? How is that going to help them? How is that going to help them in their future that they can write a scary story? It's that they're just using it as, in my experience, when a child is just hyperactive They want to claim that they have ADHD. They can't just sit down for a long period of time. So have them do a gallery walk.
Your class is boring. Nobody
Exactly. And you shouldn't be sitting down all the time.
For a whole hour.
Nobody sits down all that time. Exactly.
They have short attention spans, and then when they get disengaged, that's when they bother other people. And then they want to default to say, oh, they have a disorder. They have some people actually do have learning disabilities or emotional disorders and things of that sort. And so it should be used for that. But I think people now, whenever they have a hard time with a student, they need an IEP. Well, what makes you qualified to make that assessment?
Right, because I'm quite sure that if, people were diagnosing for ADHD back in the day, I would have been diagnosed with it. It should take forever. My grandmother used to sit down there with me for a good 2 hours for me to do this homework.